Hey guys, what is going on? Shadow of Nexus back here with another video, and we gotta talk about AM5 in 2025. There's some things that people are just not talking about, and that a lot of new PC builders, especially to AM5, will have some struggles with and some issues. So the first thing is that the boot drive can only be on some motherboards. Okay, this is not on all motherboards, but yeah, here's the experience that I had. This is my personal experience. Not all motherboards will do this, but I bought an X870E Gigabyte Aorus Elite, and the thing is that that motherboard apparently only supports a boot drive on the very top slot. Okay, so I put the boot drive into the very top slot, and guess what? It still didn't boot. So I had to change the order around. So there's basically 4 NVMe slots. I had to go ahead and I had to change the boot order in my BIOS, and not only in my BIOS, I had to actually physically take the drive out and try it in every single slot until it worked. Guess what? It did not work. Don't know why. It was working perfectly fine in my old system here. And then after that, I just went ahead and I grabbed an NVMe SSD, WD Blue 250 gigabyte SSD, and I popped it in to the top slot on my NVMe slot on the motherboard, and guess what? It worked perfectly. So it's really strange to me that for some weird reason that these motherboards are so inconsistent, and there's actually like a schematic thing that you have to follow, and it will tell you all this stuff like, oh hey, you can only use this in the top slot here, the second slot you can't use it. It is so complicated. On X570, just plug that in into the top slot, you know, it doesn't affect anything. I will get into this thing later where basically my GPU speed is actually a little bit slower, and guess what, it's actually still slower right now because I did not fix it. And guess what? I'm probably not going to fix it until I go ahead and I take a look at my computer, maybe clean it out or whatever, because it just takes too much time, okay? I want to be able to play some games, and guess what? My games are playing fine right now, so I honestly don't care too much. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's describe exactly what happened here with my graphics card. My graphics card, I have the 7900 XTX, okay? Now, for some weird reason, this motherboard, being a top-of-the-line motherboard from Gigabyte, basically is telling me that I have to use the PCI slot at the very bottom and the very top in order to not affect my GPU speed, which is absolutely insane. Because guess what, guys? There are 4 NVMe slots on the motherboard. So like, what is going on here? Like, this is so confusing. It is such a pain. And not only that, I have to put my first boot drive into the top slot, which is the only way that will boot, right? But if I put it on anything under or anything like up top of the very bottom slot of the NVMe slot, the NVMe, if I put my NVMe on the very bottom, then guess what? It will not, like, it will run my GPU at an X8 speed. And unfortunately, I went ahead and I just put it like that. I thought it was gonna be okay, and then I figured out, oh hey, my GPU is running at X8 speed. Is it that big of a deal? You probably lose like maybe 1 or 2 FPS. It doesn't really matter too much, but still, it is very, very annoying, okay? So now here, let's get into the other stuff here outside of the motherboard, because I think that the 9800X3D is a great CPU, and I think the AM5 is great. But here, let's get into the other side here. The second issue was that I bought Intel RAM by accident. Okay, it was just an accident. I didn't see that's, oh hey, you know, this RAM is compatible with Intel here, and guess what? I went ahead to turn on my computer, put the RAM in, doesn't work. No big deal, right? I went ahead and I refunded the RAM. But look, what happened next is really, really stupid, okay? I got it to boot somehow. I don't know how exactly, but I turned on XMP, and my motherboard would no longer post, right? There was no post, nothing like that. I could not see the BIOS screen. Nothing was coming up. So guess what? I'm just like, oh hey, you know, this should be a really easy fix here. I should be able to go ahead and I should reset the CMOS battery, right? But guess what? The CMOS battery is underneath the motherboard. Whose brilliant idea was it to put the CMOS battery, something that is vital, okay, to troubleshooting your PC, at the bottom of the motherboard, okay? That is insane, okay? To put the motherboard, okay? So like I said, I had the Gigabyte Aorus Elite Wi-Fi 7 motherboard. But look, the CMOS battery is at the very bottom of the motherboard. Like, I have to unscrew the entire motherboard in order to get the CMOS battery. Absolutely insane, okay? Like, this whole PC building experience with that just completely soured me. And now, look, I had to return my RAM. Thankfully, I was able to get some more RAM and get a refund for that other RAM kit there. Got some nice 6400 megahertz, or I mean, I'm sorry, 6000 megahertz CL30 RAM for my 9800X3D. So, good there, right? Now, look, also another thing as well. So, this is basically the last thing here, and then after that, we'll talk about some of the good points here about AM5. Look, the case that I got, I believe it's the Fractal Design Pop 2, I think it is. I had to buy USB-C separately. Even though the listing said it comes with USB-C, it says on there. It does not say like, oh hey, like in brackets not included or whatever. But yeah, I had to go ahead and I had to buy it separately. Like, what kind of nonsense is that I have to buy something separately that's supposed to come with my case, a USB-C header? It was like 30 bucks. So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but still, it sucks. And also, Fractal Design, you really let me down, man. The amount of options and stuff like that for cable management are pretty bad, actually. Really, really bad. And I mean, hey, the airflow is pretty good, honestly. I don't really have too many other issues with the actual case. It does look really nice as well. So I mean, hey, it was a really bad experience with USB-C. Fractal, like I went with Fractal my first time, and I also went with Gigabyte for my last build as well. So Fractal and Gigabyte, I'm definitely gonna have to do my research before buying these products here. Because this X870E motherboard, it's supposed to be top of the line, right? So, hey, it's just really annoying, and then Fractal's supposed to be really good company as well. Okay, alright, so we're done with the bad stuff here, and now my experience with AM5 has been fantastic. Besides these issues here, it took me a couple hours to solve these issues, but besides that, the 9800X3D paired with the 7900X-TX with 64 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM have been fantastic. Coming from my old 5800X, which isn't actually that old, but it is like a fairly old CPU here, going from that to the 9800X3D is actually a big jump. To be completely honest, I'm basically getting double the FPS in games like Killing Floor 3, in games like Ghost Runner, in games like Fortnite. So yeah, you see, it's actually running really, really good, and especially with my 7900X-TX, I can get a high refresh 1440p experience basically in any game. And not only that, like, I have to say, guys, it is a lot of fun to play a lot of these games at a high refresh rate. Like, I was just playing Mass Effect recently, and on my old CPU, you know, there's a bottleneck obviously with the 7900X-TX, but it ran perfectly fine, guys. I am so happy with the 7900X-TX, and I have to say, at this point, I can definitely just recommend people to go ahead and go with the AM5 platform. Like, you know, the 5700X3D and the 5800X3D are fairly difficult to get nowadays, and they're pretty expensive. So, I mean, if you are looking to go with a budget GPU, or I mean, I'm sorry, a budget platform for your motherboard, you can go ahead with the 9700X or the 7800X3D if you're playing, you know, 1080p. But if you're playing a 1440p, 9700X is still pretty good. So yeah, like, at this point, guys, I have to say AM5 is pretty good, but definitely look out what you're trying to get here, because, like, I am no noob here to building PCs. I've built, like, about, like, I'd say maybe 8 or 9 PCs at this point. I'm gonna build my 10th one very soon. So yeah, I have to say, guys, like AM5, it can be great, it can be fantastic. You're going to be getting very good performance sometimes, but then other times you're not going to be getting the best performance. So I mean, here, when it comes to, you know, just buying a RAM kit, whatever RAM kit that you want, you're probably going to have to look out here and see exactly, oh hey, is it compatible? And here, this is my fault here, okay? I'm not blaming anyone else but myself here. It is my fault. I should have done more research here. But the thing is that I didn't have these kind of issues with X570, my Gigabyte X570 Aurora Elite motherboard. So I mean, hey, at this point, I have to say, do your research, guys. A lot of people that are using more than one NVMe slot, be very, very careful. If you're looking to use like 3 NVMe slots, maybe even look at the specific motherboards. There's specific schematics, which I think is absolutely insane. To have schematics for something as so easy as, you know, building a computer is absolutely insane. So I mean, hey, do your research, guys, as much as possible. AM5 really is great, especially if you have like a GPU like the 4080 Super, like the 7900 XTX, like the 9070 XT. I would 100% recommend it, guys. And I have to say, if you are looking for a upgrade here, this is one of the biggest upgrades that you guys can do. If you guys are on AM4 right now, maybe try to see if you can sell off your old processor, RAM, motherboard, probably bundle that into a combo or whatever, and you can probably sell it for a pretty good price. So I mean, hey, at this point, guys, AM5 is what I would recommend. I would not really recommend building on AM4 unless if you're, you know, you can't really afford AM5. In that case, I can definitely understand, but I think AM5 motherboards are getting pretty cheap now. DDR5 kits are getting pretty cheap as well. The coolers, especially with Thermaltake, Thermalright, not Thermaltake, but yeah, Thermalright. You have ID Cooling, you have other cooling brands and stuff like that you can definitely trust that are really, really cool. So yeah, guys, in 2025, I think AM5 is the platform to be on. And I know this has kind of just been a video that's been all over the place at this point. I kind of just wanted to talk about my experience here. I was kind of struggling a little bit to explain exactly what is wrong here. So I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to recap here again. It's just going to be some problems with the motherboard. You might have to check the actual lanes and stuff like that if you're using multiple PCIe NVMe drives. NVMe drives, sorry. My bad. But yeah, once you're going ahead and you're doing your research, I do think the AM5 offers some fantastic yields, especially like I said, if you have a GPU like the 7900 XTX, like the 4080 Super, like the 4090, like the 5090. It's definitely worth going for AM5 at this point, guys. I mean, Intel, in my opinion, they're not really doing so good. I had an old Intel system as well. Well, not that old, but like I think it was the 14900K. It's still a good system, but man, that CPU runs really hot, and apparently there's a lot of CPU issues and stuff like that. The actual trust in Intel is going down. So yeah, AMD is definitely the king at this point, guys. I have to say, AMD is fantastic. AM5 is great. I've had a lot of great experiences, a lot of negative experiences as well. That's why I made this video. But I have to say that my overall experience with AM5 has been fantastic. I'm loving the high frame rates here with the 9800X 3D within games like, let's say, even Watch Dogs Legion, even with ray tracing on as well, because my GPU was being held back by my CPU. But now we have a more level playing field, right? So it runs fantastic. Even with ray tracing on, I get like over 60 FPS in Watch Dogs Legion, and it feels great. And also a lot of other things as well that I'm just really, really liking about AMD at this point, guys. So yeah, at this point, guys, I think AM5 is the best way to go right now. Don't really go with AM4 unless if you're, you know, have an old system and you just want to upgrade the CPU. If you can find like the 5700X 3D maybe on AliExpress or something like that for a little bit cheaper, or maybe even the 5800X 3D, might be worth it still. But at this point, guys, AM5 is the way to go. But yeah, guys, what do you guys think about AM5 here? Have you had a similar kind of experience to me? Have you had no issues with AM5? And are you guys looking to upgrade to AM5? Please let me know in the comments down below, guys. And that's going to be it for me for now. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.